On the channel, we get to test a lot of products ranging from the quirky to the super useful. Here are 5 products I've been using over the last couple of weeks, which I think you guys will enjoy. Welcome back, Pathless Peddlers, and if you're new to the channel, if you're into the non-competitive side of cycling, gravel, exploring, the supple life, you have found your people, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy our quirky take on the bike industry, consider supporting the channel via Patreon or by buying a patch. All right, so lots of quirky products to talk about today, starting with this guy. What is it exactly? This is the Stashers 3.0 Modular Adventure Pack. I know, super long name. So what it is basically an insulated frame bag or a handlebar bag, depending on where you put it, and it's meant for you to take nice cold beverages on your ride. The construction is fairly simple. It's got a single zipper to access the main compartment, and it does come with this food grade silicone sleeve. So we like to take fizzy water with us, usually pamplemousse, and we'll fill this with ice to keep it extra cold and stuff all this into the adventure bag. This attaches to your bike via these very big and generous Velcro straps. It can go around your top tube, around your handlebar. There are also these auxiliary straps on either end, so you can put these around your head tube or your seat tube. It comes in various sizes, so depending on how many beverages you want, what size frame you're gonna use, they've got you covered. So we've used this on a couple rides, usually an hour long, and what we found is when we put ice in that sleeve, let's say the temps are about 80 degrees, once we get to our location, the ice is usually mostly melted. I think the drinks kind of smash into it and break it down to smaller pieces, but they are nice and cold. So it does work. It probably won't keep your drinks cold over 8 hours, but I would say between 1 to maybe 2.5 hours is that sweet spot. Of course, when you're not carrying beverages, you can use it as a half frame bag. One thing to note is that it is kind of a little bit on the wider side to accommodate these cans. So depending on your pedaling stance, your knees may hit the bag. I know mine certainly brushed it on occasion. So personally, I probably wouldn't use it on super duper long rides, but for those quick, fun summer excursions, down to the beach or down to the river, down to a picnic, this is a perfect bag. Next product is the Newsome pedal by ICI. It is a composite pedal with replaceable pins. You guys have been asking for it, and they finally came out with it a couple months ago. I used these pedals during the Idaho gravel grinder when we were out in Eastern Oregon doing all that gravel riding. And basically, if you like the original composite thumb pedals, you will like these pedals. Pins are nice and tacky. There's no slipping off of them. And again, what I love about these pedals is the concave shape. It really cradles the foot well. I think a lot of you will compare this pedal to the Chester pedal by Raceface. Very comparable in price and kind of value proposition. They're both composite, they both come in colors, they both have replaceable pins now. I will say for me personally, I think the Thump just edges out the Chester Raceface, and that is primarily because of the shape of the pedal. Looking at the Raceface, it has kind of a raised spindle, and if your feet are sensitive to things like that, like mine are, that usually develops a hot spot, as opposed to the Thumb pedals, which are nice and concave and create a hammock for your feet. The next product is the Wolf Tooth Packplier. I picked this up when I was in Vermont and I was traveling, and basically it's a tool to remove and install those quick links on your chain. Since the days of the 9-speed chain, quick links have not become so quick to remove and install. Tolerances are a lot tighter, now they're just single use, and a lot of times you need a tool like this. So short of carrying a dedicated chain plier, this makes a great substitute. Other features is that it has an area to store quick links. It's also got some flat spaces so you can tighten or loosen the valve core. You can also use a plier end to help tighten and loosen the lock nut. And it's also a tire lever. So for all these functions, it works admirably well. It does a pretty good job at removing and installing a quick link. It does take a little bit more force just because the handles are so short. It does adequately hold in a quick link. The one function which I think it doesn't do well is acting as a tire lever. I did try removing a tire with it, and because it's metal, it's just made that kind of painful grinding sound and start to mar the rim. So I would not recommend it as a tire lever, although you could use it in an absolute pinch, but just carry a pair of cheap Pedro's levers. The last product on the list is the Specialized Power Saddle. Feel like it needs echo when I say the word power. So what's unique about this saddle is that it comes in different widths, and it's also a little stubbier. No longer is it kind of the narrow and long ass hatchet of old. What I like about it is that it's wide and has a relatively flat profile. I actually opted to try out the 155 width, which at first I thought was going to be a little bit too wide, but actually turned out to be pretty good. I think it has a decent amount of padding without being too squishy. I used it during the Idaho gravel event and our trip to Eastern Oregon and just long day rides in general. It is one of the most comfortable saddles I've ever ridden. It does take some adjusting in terms of fore and aft. You might find when you initially install it, you kind of fall off the front just because there's nothing there. So you got to play with it. That said, if you're the type of cyclist that uses the entire length of this saddle, then this saddle might not be for you. But if you generally park it in just 1 or 2 positions, then you will get on with this saddle. Another thing I like about the saddle is because it is wider, I feel like it can support different riding positions. So even if you have the handlebars a little bit above your saddle, it'll work well for that because there is that wider platform to sit your seat bones in that wider position. And if your handlebar and saddle are even or slightly below, it still accommodates that position pretty well. If you're looking for a alternative to the Brooks B17, I think this is a good kind of synthetic option, which still gives you a lot of things that I like about the shape and the feel of the B17. I will say the one downside is price. It only comes in one flavor, and that one flavor is north of $100. I'm hoping as the saddle gets more popular that they will kind of create down market versions so other people can enjoy it, like they used to do with the Toupee saddle. You could buy it at different price points. But for now, if you want the power saddle, you gotta spend that money. So what do you guys think? Have you guys tried any or all of these products? Which one is the most interesting to you? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this content, consider supporting the channel via Patreon or by buying a patch, sticker, shirt, all the good stuff. And as always, keep the supple side down.